such big news, Mike, Matt Canada getting let go by Tomlin, because the last time the Steelers had a head coach or a coordinator change mid-season was during the Second World War. It was 1941. Yeah. So I know Steeler Nation, I know the fans have been calling for this all season. Why now, Mike?
Because enough is enough, and Kenny Pickett's going backwards, and they're in the middle of a playoff race. And listen, Mike Tomlin was asked in that clip that you just ran about was the players' frustration a factor here, and he said, I'm not going to give you the pound of flesh out of respect to Matt Canada. I'll translate that. Yes, it was a factor. There's no question about that, because there are a lot of really good pass catchers on this team, and guys can make plays down the field. Kenny Pickett has certainly shown the ability late in games to play extremely well as a quarterback, but not early in games. I mean, that leads to play calling, that leads to game planning issues, and that leads to your offensive coordinator. So there definitely was the frustration with guys that felt like they weren't being put in a position to make plays down the field and to put points on the board. So Mike Sullivan and Eddie Faulkner take over. Eddie Faulkner, the running backs coach, Sullivan, the quarterbacks coach. They will combine to replace Canada, a bit of a cooperative effort, but Sullivan is the one that's going to be calling plays. And Sullivan and Kenny Pickett have a great relationship. I can't really say that for Pickett and Canada, but I can say it for Pickett and Sullivan. So I believe that Sullivan, who previously was Eli Manning's quarterbacks coach as well as a coordinator 2 times before this, is a guy that could spark this offense. And by the way, Manning would call teams when Sullivan was out of the league before Pittsburgh hired him after he was an offensive coordinator, said, you got to hire this guy. The Steelers listened, they hired him, and now he's in a position to show them that not only was it a good quarterback coaching hire, but a good coordinating hire.
I mean, Eli's in literally every second commercial I see on TV. So, he's a good pitch man. It makes sense that Sullivan got another job. Hey, Mike, injury news for a couple of tough luck pass catchers. Yeah. These guys cannot stay healthy. First of all, Michael Thomas of the Saints was placed on the injured reserve with a knee injury. Ravens star tight end Mark Andrews, who had surgery on his injured ankle, both may actually return those sometime this season?
Well, Michael Thomas, I would say more likely, and it's 4 weeks down once he's placed on injury reserve, which is not a surprise because Dennis Allen had indicated that Thomas was going to miss some time, but he did say they didn't believe it was going to be a season-ending injury. So we've kind of gone through this before with Michael Thomas, and I've seen the Saints fan base today react to this and say, yeah, we heard this one before, and it was like he's coming back in a couple weeks, and then he never came back a couple of years ago. But I do know that the Saints are confident that he will return at some point this season for a late season push, perhaps into the playoff push, depending on how things go for the Saints. Meanwhile, for Andrews, he did have surgery on Tuesday. Robert Anderson, the noted foot and ankle specialist in Charlotte, North Carolina, performed the surgery. Yes, the door is open for him, but it's cracked just a little bit right now, and the Ravens are going to have to make a deep playoff run to make this happen. I would say this. I know Mark Andrews very well. I've covered him closely throughout his career. If he gets medically cleared and he gets the chance to get on the field, this guy is as competitive as they come. He will do everything he possibly can to get on the field. So it is an intriguing storyline to watch for a team that right now, as the #1 seed in the AFC, has a chance certainly to make a deep playoff run.
Oh, man, do they ever, Mike? You're totally right about that. Mike, we call it American Thanksgiving up here. American Thanksgiving's on Thursday. We had ours last month. So American Thanksgiving means football. Halftime shows for all 3 games. We've got Jack Harlow, hip-hop star. We have superstar DJ Steve Aoki. And then we have legendary country music singer, songwriter, overall American icon, Dolly Parton. Which of the 3 are you most looking forward to, Mike Garafolo?
It's really not my genre, but I am looking forward to Dolly Parton. I think Dolly Parton is an absolute badass that has stood the test of time, I should say, and has appealed to everyone across the music spectrum, you could say. So to me, I think Dolly Parton is going to bring the house in. Texas, Cowboys, American Thanksgiving, Dolly Parton, it all fits, and it's going to be right around when we're finishing up dinner and having dessert, probably around that point. So, it's going to be the perfect time for some Dolly.
I couldn't agree with you more. She sang Rocky Top at the Tennessee game over the weekend. Peyton Manning led her onto the field. She looks fantastic. What can't she
Yeah.
do? Mike, have a great Thanksgiving, you and your family. We love talking to you, and we will talk to you next week.